Hello and welcome to your Desire Mastermind. Again, I always love to talk about things as they're playing out in real life. And I had another really strong example of that. And the more that you're able to turn your life into this experiment for universal law, for the law of attraction, for manifesting and living this spirit-led and desire-driven life, where first you're really trying to apply all the principles and the techniques and the tools and the processes and understand how it all works. And then you get to a place where it becomes a way of living and a way of being. And so what I'm going to talk to you about, one of the principles I'm going to talk to you about today is one that's really important the more you're using this all the time, where you have a desire bubble up. You send that desire, as Abraham says, a rocket of desire out into the universe, and then just as soon you let it go, trusting and knowing it will come back to you. And over the weekend, I had a client going through a really hard time, and I found myself talking about this, about detaching from the outcome and trusting the universe. And I always talk about this is a real trust journey. And I talk about it as trust times 3, because it is trusting yourself, trusting spirit, and trusting the process. And it is a process. It's your spiritual journey. It's a journey of growth. But when you're in the middle of heartache or disappointment or confusion or frustration, that because what you thought was coming to you and what was really seemed to be coming in just the way you were ordering it up, and you feel and truly believe you've been doing the work and you deserve it. And, we work so hard to get to that place of allowing and receiving and deserving and being worthy. And then it seems to fall apart. It can really be tough to go through. And so then, as I'm saying, trust, I remember times when I would be told that, and I would want to pull my hair out, trusting. And I've come to trust now, as I share with you all, that spirit is always working in my favor. But how do you take something that really is not being orchestrated the way that you would orchestrate it, or in a way that is even pleasurable to you and can bring you pain, anger, discomfort, confusion, heartache, disappointment? It's a tough one. And it is all part of the journey. And so you can learn over and over to believe more and more. I don't know why this is happening, but I believe that spirit is always working in my favor. Let me see what's trying to happen here. And this is especially true. A lot of the things that we desire, they involve other people. And if you remember, when we are predicting future or working on bringing things from the future to us, there are, the way I see it, are 3 levels, 3 rings. And one ring is probability. This is a probability that this will show up. It will show up soon. It will show up with grace and ease as soon as you really align with it. This is what miracles appear when they show up out of nowhere, because boom, you send out the desire, you make the connection, and you're aligned, and they come in because you are already a vibrational match to them. Then there's possibilities. These are things that can possibly happen to you, but there are things that need to be cleared, healed, and resolved. And these are the ones that we get in the most, where first they bring up stuff that needs to be cleared, healed, and resolved, and that feels yuck. and it looks yuck, and it can really cause you to wobble out of your belief and out of your trust. Yet that's the work that's demanding to be done. The universe is not saying, not now, you can't have it, you shouldn't have it, it's not for you. The universe is saying, ask and it is given. Yes, it is yours. It is already yours. And here are the things on your end that have to be cleared, healed, and resolved in order for that to come to you, for you to allow and receive it and fully align with it. And then boom, it comes in. And then there are the other things. Nothing is impossible. But then that third ring holds things that right now you are not a vibrational match to in a big way. And there's a lot that has to be cleared, healed, and resolved. And you have to become the person that can get these results. So keeping that in mind, all of this is at work and at play with the universe. And it's like a chess game, an intricate chess game. The universe does its part. Remember, you always have to go first. Then the universe does its part. The breadcrumbs show up, the opportunities show up. Then you have to do your part. It's your move. And then the universe responds to that. And then anybody else involved in it has free will, which brings me to a second part of this, which is a really tough one. Not only do you have to detach from the outcome, the desire bubbles up, it goes out into the universe. You've got your hand on it, you release it to the universe as a desire, and it goes out as that rocket of desire with your charged emotions, which are energy in motion, to create from the field of energy in form what you are needing, wanting, and desiring. You also can only manifest on your behalf. So anyone else who's involved in this, you have to let go of it being that person or it relying on them doing, being, or having anything. So this can be a really tough one. What about when you're manifesting love, relationships, family, children, careers, anything, business partnerships? You cannot control the other person, and you can't manifest on behalf of others. And this is one that's so hard to get across. People will show up all the time seeking out advice and counsel from psychics, mediums, healers, saying, what can I do to make this happen? And you just simply can't. I had to learn that. What I can do is I believe that if I can always be about what is for my highest and best good, it will always be for the highest and best of others. But I can't bend them to my will, and I don't know what they have going on with spirit that is totally their business and has nothing to do with me. And once they come into my world and we're working on these manifestations together, there are lessons to be learned. There are things to do. And I don't know what they will choose. The opportunity shows up for them in the same way the opportunity is showing up for us. But remember, we can follow the breadcrumbs or not. We can see them or not. They're going to sometimes often look uncomfortable, inconvenient, illogical, be expensive. And some people will say no. That doesn't mean you don't get what you want, but that's why it's so important for you to really hold to the essence of what you want and not the people who have to fulfill it. And when you really have your heart set on someone and you're really in something with someone and it looks like it's going to happen for you, it can be really hard once you start seeing it unravel and come apart and you see them self-sabotaging. But in that moment, they had the free will to rise up and be that and be part of your manifestation or not. But that doesn't mean you're not getting your manifestation that you're asking for. This is a really important one. As I said, the more you're doing this all the time, because I have desires now that come and go all the time. They come in, they go out, and I can keep track of them, which I used to. I kept a journal for a long time, a notebook, and just everything I desired, I wrote it down. And then it was really fun to see when they came in. I also, years and years ago, made a God jar. I was taught how to make one of those again through Abraham Esther Hicks teachings, where every time you have a desire, you write it on a strip of paper and you put it in the jar, and then you put it on your altar, or put it with crystals, or put it by your bedside, wherever it is, and you leave it alone and you let spirit work, and you believe that the breadcrumbs and the opportunities will show up in the moment for you to respond to, but you let the universe and spirit do their part. And then I would go back a year later, and not only would I get to see all the things that came in, but here's a key part. Even the things that I would have said were bad that had happened to me, I saw where all of them were helping me create what it was that I was desiring. And that is so powerful. But in the moment you'd say, why is spirit leaving me? Why are people hurting me? People always hurt me. I'm always betrayed. I'm abandoned. And it lights up our rejection, abandonment, betrayal, lack of trust, dishonesty, all these things. When we try to control the outcomes too much and we're holding on too tight, and we try to control how it's going to happen, it creates a lot of logjam and it creates a lot of pain. At the same time, we're told we're these powerful creators. And part of that means we start feeling that power and we start co-creating with the universe. But we can have a hard time letting go and accepting the way things unfold. Because remember, the minute we turn it over, spirit sees the whole tapestry and sees all the people in that realm of your probabilities, your possibilities, and the things that right now you are really not a match for at all, and how much by desiring these things and becoming the person who can get these results, you are asking for growth. These things will stretch and grow you. And remember why they will stretch and grow you, because if you were already a match to them, you would already have them. So this can look like being attached to something happening in the time frame you're comfortable with, or someone else doing something in the way you want, or you think something will be a disaster if it doesn't go exactly as you planned. This took me time. This had a lot of surrender to it for me, because I was one of those people for a long time that learned I'll just do it myself because nobody else will do it right, as good, better. No one will take care of me. And so you'll play that out with spirit in the same way you play it out with people. And letting go of those. And I've shared with you all, things I need, want, and desire come in, and they come in when I need them. There's some desires that I've sent out there and let go of fully that come in way down the road, and I'm in a much better place to allow and receive them, and they have more meaning. It's like I even found, I was telling one of my clients this weekend, I watch when themes are showing up. And I was telling her, don't watch the pot boil, because she did the work and now it was spirit's move. And she's sitting there like, come on, what do you got for me? What's happening? What's showing up? And I said, don't watch the pot boil. It's true. In order to attract your desires, you have to create that energetic state that matches the frequency of what it is you're seeking. And you've got to start feeling. You want to be more abundant, feel more abundant, attracting the things that you want so they can move closer to you and you can move closer to them. Make those intentions to dwell all the time in the energy of your desires, and by universal law, you will attract them. At the same time, this whole idea of the power of detachment, by trying to control too much, you can actually block your allowing and receiving. And I have found the more I could turn it over, which again, I'm a work in progress. This was a process. The more greatness we allow, when we take our hands off of it and our mind that wants to be oh so helpful and run the show, and we let spirit truly do it, we can stop all that worrying and all that mind chatter that burns up energy, and trusting our good is coming to us. When we're so attached to the outcome, we can block our ability to manifest and co-create with the universe. And then what we also do is we start letting our mind run the show of making up stories. And those are the stories that don't serve us. So as long as we're doing our part, we're getting clear on our intention, we're aligning our energy with the energy of the universe, we're opening those doors, we're sending our energy as emotions, energy in motion, and we're cleaning up any charged emotions that would create and bring us what we don't want. We're cleaning and clearing and resolving those. And then we start watching for the opportunities and the breadcrumbs, and watch what shows up in the way of inspiration, ideas, support, solutions, opportunities you couldn't even have ever imagined. But we have to release the results and allow the universe to do its part. So this is the part where you're getting in your own way if you're playing this out, and when you're playing this out. And if you can remember, it is one of the key universal laws, just like leave the house to the universe. I'm in the middle of one of those right now, and I can't tell you how many times in the last 2 days I have said, leave the house to the universe. Then I rush in. Spirit, are you doing this? Is this working? Are you doing this? So recognizing that you're not detached from the outcome and your attachment to it, and what that is making you think and feel, and what actions you're taking. And then really further detach and leave the house to the universe. So then I started really being aware. Here's how it was, because now, you know, I live this all the time. I believe it fully. And so I saw this coming in, and I was like, wow, I've been watching for this and preparing a long time. But I have such high desire, and it was this close to me. And it's interesting because that's what was going on with my client over the weekend. Something that she had the highest desire for, and it was this close already in her hands. And then it started looking like it was unraveling and moving away from her, and we want to start grabbing at it. And so what it looked like was I started realizing that instead of just that solid desire, I was starting to get that desire and that butting into what's trying to happen with spirit. And this involves a lot of people. It's a big thing, and I know I'm meant to play a part in it. And so as it's happening, I started realizing, oh, my pure desire has turned into, what if it gets taken away from me? What if I don't get it? Are these people going to make it happen? How is spirit going to do this? And that's when I had to realize, wait, I am in the way. And this calm came over me of spirit has this. And I had to remind myself. And again, everything I was reminding myself, I was talking to the client, same words. So I had to say it to my client and then drink my own medicine, which is what we have to do. And I found myself saying, whatever is yours cannot be taken away from you. And I had to keep backing off, because then I was obsessively like messaging friends who knew what was going on and fiddling in it. But I noticed again, that was coming from a place of desperation and scarcity and lack. And that's not serving me. And so Spirit's got this. Spirit knows. And if it doesn't happen right now, it's not time for me to come into the puzzle. But our high desire, which can be our superpower, can also get in our way. It's like, here I am, and then I dropped into the same desire, but from a place of scarcity and lack. And think about it. All of a sudden I was like, Spirit, I know you got this. I know you got all of this, but do you really have this? And are you really doing all you can? And what should be happening here? So again, it's that taking honest inventory and being aware. Once something we want gets so close to us, we get even more afraid, especially if we have any programs running. I have clients who have programs running like waiting for the other shoe to drop. It can't be this good. Something always happens at the last minute. And when it gets this close, that's when people can start working against themselves. I had to surrender and allow the universe. I had to remind myself the universe has got this, and the universe will show me what to do and when. And remember, the things that come in the fastest to us are when we're so aligned, their probabilities. And my energy was actually could have moved this from a probability to a possibility. I need to get out of the way. So when it all fully aligns, it's easy for me and everybody involved. This is something you can start working on, because the things that will come the easiest a lot of the time are things that you think would be really cool and they'd be really fun and wow, wouldn't that be great? But if they don't show up, nothing bad's going to happen. I'm fine. And those sometimes are the ones that just show right up because you're right there in it and you're not blocking the way. It's when, oh my gosh, it's coming. Is it going to happen? What if it gets taken away from me? What if something happens? So this is really one for you all to be looking at and bringing in as one of those skills and one of those awarenesses that you're looking at all the time, and to keep turning to divine guidance. Because the other important principle that came up for me during this was the same one I talk about when I'm teaching about money. It's the same for all of it. Money comes from source through people. All of this comes from source through people. So we're looking to the divine guidance and the divine to co-create it with us. And a controlling energy drops us back into those low vibration, that low energy. And then you take actions that can be desperate, because then I had to catch myself. If I'm doing this too much or I message the wrong person, I can actually work against myself, and then I don't get the outcome I want. It's already in play. It's already on its way to me. This then brings up that big thing we always come up against, which is an ongoing, and that's surrender to the universe. Can you take those moments where you catch yourself surrendering to the universe? And when Diana watches this replay, she'll really appreciate it, because she and I talked a lot when we first met and over time about doing a trust fall into Spirit's lap. And the way that I said that to her, she really liked it. And so I used that a lot. And now as my own image of, wait, I'm working against myself. I'm working against Spirit. This is not how manifesting happens the best and easiest. Because remember, if I bring any negatively charged emotions in, they go out in the order now too. And then that's going to start coming back to me. And that's not going to be good. I stop and I re-surrender. It's that surrendering over and over, surrendering into the lap of Spirit, doing that trust fall, that over controlling. Those are of the mind and they're old. So this detaching from the outcome, leaving the house to the universe, and surrendering these areas in your life. These are all things you practice, and you're a work in progress, just like we all are. But as they get better and easier, and you see, I had to catch myself the past few days, as recently as today, working on these things that I know. So yeah, you can start by practicing in the areas where they're not your highest desires and your highest resistance and the biggest things, and start putting these things into practice, because you're developing a relationship with spirit and an energetic exchange of how you best work together. It's very similar to when you're training to be a psychic or medium and healer, and you develop this really energetic, personal relationship with spirit. Remember, manifesting is using energy for your own benefit, for your own, as your own superpower, to manifest things in your own life for your highest and best good. And so you're working out that relationship, and you want to get out of the way. Then you'll start finding the things, and they might surprise you sometimes, things you're really attached to that you're not fully willing to turn over. And these are also those aha moments that when you find those, when you're working with spirit, you are probably doing those with other people in your life. So there's another area of growth for you. And in a perfect world, we would get to where we surrender, we detach, and we release all of it. And I've been able to do that more and more and more in my life. Yet I still bump up against myself. The reason that you want the things that you want, need, and desire is because of the way you believe they will make you feel. And this is another one when I really got that by people saying, why do you want that? Why do you want that? And they take you on this deep dive. It's a coaching technique too. When you get to what you want to be feeling and the essence, because that's how you're really going to get there. And then the universe may deliver it differently. But what you really want is how you're going to feel. And your mind is the one that's believing, well, if you do it in this way and I have all of this, then I'm going to feel great and I'm going to have everything I want. But remember, you've got to feel good on your way there. You can't get there feeling bad to get to what will make you feel good. You have to learn to be satisfied and content with what is while you're reaching for that more. That's another Abraham teaching. Abraham has a lot to say around this topic. So if you haven't taken a deep dive into Abraham teachings, or they really resonate with you, it's a great place to go for that. I had to really look these past few days at things that were high stakes for me, that I really felt like, oh, I want and need this. And then my mind pushing me to get in a way that was not going to work for me. And I had to go back to the essence, because in this situation, this is a thing I want. And I know how it will make me feel, but it is still a thing I want. Now, I believe it's meant to be and all of that, but I'm still not in control of when and how it happens. And if all of a sudden everything shifted, sometimes you can take a quantum leap and steps you had your eye on suddenly are no longer part of your path. And there are other times that things shift so much and the other people and things that is not right for you. So this is a great thing for you to pay attention to, keeping in mind right now, what are those things that you have in your realm that you're a probability for, and make it easy for the universe to bring those things to you. What are possibilities where the universe is showing you every time you focus on them what needs to be cleared, healed, and resolved for you to allow and receive them? And what are the things you're aware of that are desires, but you don't see any evidence right now? And you may even start being aware of your own limiting beliefs, or it feels like too big of a reach or something, but then it's in your world and you can reach for it and you can change that. It's also a great way to remember when things aren't coming in as fast, because what I also want to do, and this is the mind, but especially as you're running a business or anything like that, I'll get a result and then I'll want to replicate it. And there are strategies, there are proven strategies, there are things that work, and I want to replicate those things. At the same time, I know now that there are things that are closer to me and easier for me to align with and just come right on in, and other things that are going to take a while to get there because of what has to happen between then and now. That's where another thing comes in that we'll talk about later, which is collapsing time and space. That can happen. So I'm never going to say something's way out there and it's a possibility or not even a possibility yet, and you can't still really bring it to you in a timely manner or fast or immediate. Sometimes this is where you see people have a life-altering situation that shifts them so much that these things come in. In the same way, I've seen people reaching for a job or a love or money, and this has happened to me too, and you're grabbing and you're grabbing and you're not detached from the outcome, and you keep wondering why it's not happening. And when you finally get that surrender, it comes in, but in a different container than you were expecting it. While you're over there, it has to come in that way. Why aren't they responding? Why isn't it happening this way? And then whoosh, it comes in when you really can surrender. This is a good one for you all to really pay attention to and be aware of this week and really be watching and seeing. And it's hard also because I've had a couple of clients playing some of this out. And again, the other client that I was talking to about not watching the pot boil, she is running strategies by me, and then she's applying the strategies, and then she's got that inner energy of this always worked before and right now it's not working and I don't know about this. And so she was really in that energy and she wasn't being detached from the outcome and surrendering, because then we can start feeling like, I have to make this work, I need this now, I want this now, what's happening? And in that same way, it was a mirror to me of what then I found myself doing the past few days. So here's another one. When you're working with other people, all of you coach other people or work with other people, you're healers, intuitives in different capacities, you will find often that in the middle of you dealing with your clients and what they're going through, you will suddenly recognize, or it will suddenly show up for you as well. Because at that meta level, remember, your clients are showing up as mirrors. You have soul contracts with them, you have energetic bonds with them, and they are showing up as mirrors in the same way you're showing up as opportunities in their lives. But in some ways you get to do this thing and maybe you get to be paid for it and you get to do it as your vocation and your livelihood, if that's what you desire, and yet it's still your spiritual journey. And so I had to really pause as I'm working with both these clients and going back and forth. And that's fun too. If you ever have two clients that are really in need at once or in the same way, 2 or 3 in the same week start popping up, you want to look at what's playing out that's similar and then how it might pertain to you. Sometimes it's a message then for you to go out and share. What would I say to these clients one-to-one, or what am I saying to them? And now let me go out and share, because there are more that I could help like them. Sometimes it's also what you are saying to yourself. This is one of those big ones. There are the nuances, and then there are the big ones, and there are the big ones that you can't negotiate away, and leaving the house to the universe, detaching from the outcome. They're two of the big ones. Another key is learning to take inspired, aligned action. These are the big ones that they can either get in your way or they can make things fast and easy. One thing I always share, I've learned over the years to use mantras that say with grace and ease a lot. And I've talked to you all about that. And so in these cases, I also say, thank you. I've got these lessons. I've learned them. I now learn these lessons with grace and ease. I now allow and receive what I need, want, and desire with grace and ease. And this is something I was doing with those clients too, is just giving them some of those mantras. You can always bring in grace and ease as an essence. In the same way, I got myself to a calm place. And here's something where you'll see, you can't make this up. It's really working, because I started spinning a little and trying to do what was beyond my scope to help this thing happen. I'm anxious for it to happen. Then for whatever reason, I started thinking, what if it gets taken away from me? What if I don't get it? On and on. And when I got into that calm place and I reminded myself of these things, I got a message that one step that I could not control at all had been taken in that hour, that very hour, moving it forward. So it's still, the ball is not in my court, but once I got my energy right, another step was taken by someone who didn't have to bump up against all my crazy energy getting in the way. So now I keep coming back to the calm. These are great ones for you all to be noticing this week and over the next few weeks and really working with.